From the mysteries of space to the wonders of our planet, to the incredible secrets hidden in everyday life. Welcome to Fantastic Facts, where knowledge becomes discovery and every episode reveals something extraordinary. Right now, as you watch this video, you are traveling through space at nearly 3,000 meters every second, and you don't even feel it. Our planet Earth is a gigantic ball of rock weighing about 6 sextillion tons. That's a number so big it's almost impossible to imagine. But here's something even more fascinating. Nearly 2/3 of Earth's surface is covered by water, forming the oceans and seas, while the remaining land is where we live. Surrounding the planet is a protective blanket of gases called the atmosphere, stretching hundreds of kilometers above us. Beyond that, space begins. And Earth isn't alone. Close to the Sun is Mercury, a small, blazing hot planet, while Venus and Earth are rocky worlds with very different environments. But this raises a much bigger question. Where did Earth come from in the first place? The answer begins billions of years ago, inside a giant cloud in space. Mountains don't simply appear, they are pushed upward by the power of colliding continents. Deep beneath Earth's surface, massive sections of crust called tectonic plates are constantly moving. When two continental plates slowly crash into each other, the rock at their edges cannot sink easily, so it crumples, folds, and rises upward, forming enormous mountain ranges. One of the most dramatic examples of this process is the Himalayan mountain range, created when the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate, a collision that is still happening today, meaning the Himalayas continue to grow millimeter by millimeter. But not all mountains are formed by collisions. Some rise from deep inside the Earth in a much more explosive way. Some of the tallest mountains on Earth were not pushed upward. They were built layer by fire. Volcanic mountains form when molten rock, called lava, erupts from deep inside the Earth and flows onto the surface. As the lava cools, it hardens into solid rock, creating a new layer. Over thousands, sometimes millions of eruptions, these layers stack on top of each other, slowly building massive volcanic peaks. Every eruption adds another thin layer, gradually shaping the steep, cone-shaped mountains we recognize as volcanoes today. But not all mountains are formed by folding or eruptions. Some appear when enormous blocks of Earth's crust suddenly rise upward along giant cracks. Some mountains don't rise by folding or erupting. They lift upward like giant stone elevators. As tectonic plates push against each other, intense pressure builds inside the Earth's crust. In some areas, the rock cracks instead of folding, creating massive fractures known as faults. When a large block of land trapped between two faults is forced upward by surrounding pressure, it forms what scientists call a block mountain. This slow movement takes millions of years, yet the process is still happening today, quietly reshaping the surface of our planet. Groups of mountains formed over time create mountain ranges, such as the Alps, Andes, Rockies, and the towering Himalayas, the highest range on Earth. While mountains rise over millions of years, something much faster is shaping the land every single day: flowing water. Every mighty river you see today once began as something incredibly small: a tiny trickle of water. When rain falls, some of it soaks deep into the ground, moving slowly through layers of soil and rock. Eventually, this underground water finds an opening and flows back to the surface, creating a spring, the birthplace of many rivers. At first, the water forms a small flowing channel called a stream. As more streams join together, the flow becomes stronger and wider, eventually forming the powerful rivers that shape landscapes, nourish ecosystems, and support human civilizations. And as rivers continue their journey, they don't just flow, they begin carving dramatic features into the land, including one of nature's most spectacular sights. Water may seem gentle, but over time it can carve massive cliffs and waterfalls. When a river flows over a layer of hard rock that sits above softer rock, the softer layer gradually wears away faster. Sand, stones, and pebbles carried by the flowing water grind against the rock like natural sandpaper, slowly carving a steep drop. As the falling water crashes below, it digs out a deep hollow at the base, known as a plunge pool, making the waterfall even more dramatic over time. High in the mountains, small streams combine to form the headwaters of rivers. From there, rivers rush through valleys and mountains before eventually slowing down and flowing across wide plains toward the sea. And as rivers travel across the land, they begin to change shape in fascinating ways, creating sweeping curves that can even form entirely new lakes. Rivers change as they flow. A river is never the same from start to finish. It completely changes its shape and behavior along the way. Rivers usually begin high in the hills and mountains, where they are narrow, steep, and fast-flowing. As they move toward flatter land, the slope decreases, causing the river to slow down and spread wider. During the slower journey, the river begins to form sweeping curves called meanders. Sometimes these bends become so extreme that they break off entirely, creating crescent-shaped lakes known as oxbow lakes. Eventually, the river reaches the sea, forming its mouth. This meeting point may become a broad water channel called an estuary, or it may split into many smaller channels, creating a fan-shaped delta of sand and sediment. But rivers are not the only places where water collects. Sometimes nature creates large basins that fill with water, forming beautiful lakes. Not all lakes are created the same way. Some are formed by ice, earthquakes, or even falling mountains. Lakes often form in natural hollows or basins in the ground. Some of these basins are left behind when massive glaciers melt, while others appear when movements deep within Earth's crust create openings that later fill with water. In certain cases, a landslide can block a flowing river, acting like a natural dam and creating a lake behind it. And sometimes, volcanic activity forms circular basins called craters, which later fill with rainwater to become beautiful crater lakes. But lakes don't always appear blue. In some parts of the world, they glow in surprising colors that seem almost unreal. Some lakes are so unusual, they look like they belong on another planet. Certain lakes form inside the craters of volcanoes, where rainwater gradually fills the circular basin left behind after an eruption. Others were created long ago when meteorites struck Earth, leaving deep impact craters that later filled with water. While most lakes appear blue, some display extraordinary colors: pink, green, red, or even white, caused by minerals or microscopic organisms living in the water. One famous example is Laguna Colorado in South America, whose striking red color comes from tiny living organisms thriving in its waters. With mountains, rivers, and lakes shaping the landscape, Earth has become a perfect home for something even more extraordinary: life itself. Among billions of planets in the universe, one world stands out. The only place we know where life exists. Earth is home to millions of different life forms, from microscopic organisms to giant forests and animals that roam land and sea. Scientists believe life thrives here because our planet has the perfect combination of liquid water, breathable oxygen, and temperatures suitable for survival. So far, No other world has been confirmed to host life. But if astronomers discover planets with similar conditions, water, atmosphere, and the right temperature, it is possible that life could exist there as well. Our planet is more than rock, water, and air. It is a living world, shaped by billions of years of cosmic history. And as we continue exploring the universe, one question still inspires humanity. Are we truly alone? Or is Earth just the beginning of the story? You've just watched Fantastic Facts. If your mind feels bigger, hit subscribe, like, and share, because the world is full of wonders.